Hi there, my name's Sarah Gordon,
Hi there, my name is Annie Clark.
and we're really excited because we're going to take you through some of our hints and tips with regards to online training. So, what are we going to talk about today, Annie?
So, what we're going to do is we're going to look at what the differences are between face to face training and online training.
Great. So, Annie, you deliver lots and lots of face to face training, at least ordinarily, you deliver lots
Yeah.
and lots of face to face training. So, from your perspective, what are some of those key differences between face to face and online?
I think the first difference is that you need to think differently about the format. So, how you're going to structure your sessions. And we're going to share some hints and tips with you a little bit later on around that. The other thing that I think is really important to consider is the level of interaction that you have throughout your hour and a half or your 3 hour session. And I was on a webinar a couple of weeks ago with the Learning and Performance Institute, and they advise that you want to be introducing some form of interaction every 3 to 5 minutes. And when I first heard that, I thought, wow, that's really quite ambitious. But actually, you can do that in really clever ways. And we'll share some ideas with you in a little bit. And I think the other thing that I would say that you need to be aware of is that your audience will have a really different level of technical ability. So some people will be really experienced with the platform that you're using, and then other people won't be able to start that video, or they won't know how to unmute themselves. So you have to build that into your session. And one thing that we do with our clients is we offer a half an hour window before the session, so that people who are perhaps not feeling as confident can come and check in and make sure that everything's working. So it might be useful to think about building that into your sessions. But how about you, Sarah? What do you see as some of the key differences?
Well, I think first, just to pick up on your point with regards to everybody has a different level of, I guess, how comfortable they feel with the technology. And so we do something similar with regards to allowing people kind of into that session a bit earlier so that they can play with the different tools and techniques. And also we've got a couple of little videos as well that we send out to people in advance so that they can practice and just become a bit more comfortable. Just
Yeah.
with the basics. So things like the chat function, which I think is so integral to stuff that you do online, just to make sure that they feel that they have the opportunity to actually contribute and they actually know where to find it as well. Because that's something where online training is different to face-to-face training. And so kind of being able to deal with that media and then design the learning so that it fits your mechanism of teaching people. Because some people will just want to focus in on what the main trainer is actually saying. And so they need to feel comfortable with that. Whereas other people will be more than happy to be listening and to contributing on the chats and to filling something else in and probably dealing with their toddler at the same time, you know, so that kind of multitasking ability
Yeah.
as well is something that you would never get in face-to-face training, but you can, I think, leverage and actually explore in a much more exciting way when it's online. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Something that I've noticed happening is there's almost like different layers of learning that happen. So you're delivering your content, and then people are having a separate conversation online, which is why I would always recommend having a sort of a co-pilot who can pose questions and ask, what's resonated from what Annie has said so far, or sharing their own examples and their own resources. Just really help to create that really full dynamic, which you don't get in the training room, because you may be having group conversations, but not at the same time as you're delivering.
Oh, definitely. I think, I mean, that's one of the kind of the hard and fast rules, I think, with regards to online training, is have two experienced trainers delivering it.
Yeah.
Don't try and do it by yourself. Or if you're signing up to training, don't sign up to an organization that only has one trainer and then maybe technical support. You need two experienced trainers or two experts in whatever area is being trained, because then you'll get information out of both of them. So yes, you've got the one person who might be leading at that moment in time, but the other person is answering questions on the chat, teeing up the next exercise, finding the reference documents to send out to people as you're going through the training. So you're getting this wealth of learning, actually in a way that I think people have become much more used to and expectant of in 2020, compared to sitting in a classroom, which is great, but we can't do it right now. So therefore, let's become really good at the online stuff.
And I think the topics that we're delivering sessions on at the moment, people are just desperate for resources. So the more resources you can give them, the more signposting you can do. It's like you say, Sarah, it's that wealth of information that they feel they're taking away, I think is really important.
Yeah, so I think the final thing that I'd like to say just on the structure of the training is you're not just aiming at the, you know, however many hours you might be doing the training session for. You know, that's only one component in a much broader sort of program of learning. So as you say, there are different levels of the learning whilst you're actually online and face to face, but there's also the kind of the pre-material, there's the material that you get during the sessions. If it's a training course where you've got multiple online sessions, you've got all of the bits that are in between, which might include some homework or some just, you know, internal discussion forums, what have you. And then there's the post work as well. And the post information can include things like the recordings of the sessions, so that people, you know, rather than just having to rely on their memories and their notes and whatever handouts you may have given, people can actually go back and they can almost experience that learning again and kind of utilize that to trigger all of those things in their minds, which ordinarily you wouldn't have that, because how often do you record a face-to-face training session? You don't.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important as well that where you can offer that recording, because it just adds value to the client. So, you know, you set the session for 10 o'clock on Monday morning and not everyone's working or not everyone can access it at that point in time, but they can still hear the content and they can still hear some of the conversations that happen during the course of that session.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I mean, I think it's a case here from personally, I really love giving face-to-face training, and I think a part of my life is on hold at the moment because I can't do that. But online training, whilst you don't necessarily get that feedback that you get instantaneously when you're doing face-to-face, you can still make that happen. And actually, I think that sometimes the learning experience that you can give to multiple people is almost greater than what you can offer people in face-to-face.
Great. Thanks, Sarah.
Cool. Thanks, Annie.